Okay, here we have the big putty machine. The 55-gallon, 200-liter drum and loader. Sitting on our low-profile, low-board cart. Makes it a little bit easier to get the drums up in place. 23-to-1 extrusion pump. It's the main air drive motor. We have a lubricator, normally closed shuttle valve. Here's the MEKP slave alarm pump assembly. Now in this particular demo unit we have a 2-gallon MEKP bottle. It's gravity fed. See the outlet right down here. Up on top of the mast we have a 12-foot boom assembly which houses all the hoses. The gun extends out the end of the boom. Here's our solvent purge pump assembly. It just sits on a 20-liter pail. Okay, so this is the dispensing valve high flow static mixer. I have a variety of mixers. This particular one is 2 segments. It's about 3/4 of a meter long. It's an individual Teflon mixing grid stacked up inside. The lever valve is just operated by this blue lever handle right here. As the blue lever rotates, it's hooked up to a separate gear there in this little cassette. As the material valve opens, it opens up the catalyst valve, which is sitting right up there on top. So the blue handle here, this is for air purge. The black handle here is for solvent purge. Okay, we're going to stop right now, and next we'll be loading the machine and do some testing. Okay, now we're going to get ready to load materials here onto the putty system. First we'll pour some acetone into the acetone pail. So you disconnect the air supply to the pump right there with the little coupler right there. And then you can lift the pump and the lid off the top of the pail. Okay. We're going to use acetone. Good. That's good. And we'll secure the lid down with the thumb screws onto the pail. And just reattach the air line. Yeah. Right now we don't have any air connected to the system. We're not going to do that until we get everything loaded. Okay, now we're going to load the catalyst bottle. Going to unscrew the lid. Going to use a funnel here. Make sure the funnel is absolutely clean. It's best to have a funnel with a little strainer inside of it, just in case there's any impurities coming out of the bottle. We'll come back to that. Okay, once you've got it full, we're just going to fill it this full for now for the test. And take the funnel out, put the lid back onto the bottle. Good. Now we'll prep the drum and for loading onto the machine, the putty drum. Okay, now we're going to get the drum prepped here before we can load it onto the system. We're using a Rycold Norpol material. Okay, what we're going to do is remove the lid. This has a plastic liner in it. we're going to secure the liner to the outside of the drum. I'll show you the proper way to do this. Uno más. Okay, we'll take that top piece out. We're going to get her loaded on the forklift. And it'll be ready to go. Okay, now we're going to hook up the air supply. But before we hook up the air supply, we're going to make sure all the regulators are in the off position. Starting with the main air regulator, that controls the pump pressure. That's unscrewed out. It's the ram pressure air regulator. That's unscrewed out in the off position. And also down on the solvent pump. That's in the off position. Okay, the air hose attaches to the main air manifold. Right up here, we're going to use a really large diameter air hose. We want to get as much air volume to the system as we can. Minimum air requirements are 100 psi. Okay, now we're going to slowly turn on the air supply over on the wall. Then we're going to check the air purge, and we'll put some air to the solvent pump and check for solvent flow out of the gun before we load the putty. Okay, we don't hear any air leaks, so we're going to go forward. Okay, our initial test is just going to make sure that we have air coming from the manifold to the air purge valve on the dispensing valve there. Okay, now we'll load the solvent pump. Okay, now we're going to put some air pressure to the solvent pump. We're going to make sure that the air or the solvent hose fitting is tight onto the pump. Okay, now he'll just increase the air pressure on the regulator to load the pump and the solvent hose up to the dispensing valve. Okay, and once it's loaded, we're going to run the pressure up pretty high. It doesn't matter if you have maximum air pressure on that pump. The more pressure you have, the better it cleans the mixer. Okay, now that we have the solvent pump and the hose loaded, we're just going to run solvent through the valve to confirm that we do have solvent flowing through the dispensing valve. Then he'll turn the air back on to chase that solvent out. Good.